many people here for public comments. We have an executive session. Are there public comments? 3 minutes? Okay, because we have to.
So I would move that we move public comments to before executive session.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Made and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? And it carries. Thank you, Mike. Public comment? Sorry.
In light of your eagerness and need to get into the executive session, I'll try to keep this briefer than I normally do. Very simply, I was here a couple of weeks ago, reported to you that the legislature, the House of Representatives, was about to go into a special session to consider the concessions package that the governor had negotiated. And in fact, we did go into session. That was approved. There was a vote also on a piece of legislation that would change 830G, which is the affordable housing zoning appeals process. But the most important thing, I think, immediately facing the town of Southbury right now is the fact that the concessions package went through. It then, a week later, this past Monday, was voted on by the state Senate. Now, the impact, and I'm sure everyone has read about those specific facts, the impact, however, of this adoption of the governor's concession package is that we have essentially locked in numbers for the budget at the state level. And essentially what the governor has said was he wanted this concessions package, and that deals with about 30% of the state's budget deficit. That still leaves about $3.5 billion. A very big piece of his plan, which he still, as far as I can tell, insists on pursuing, is the idea of cutting state aid to towns like Southbury and imposing on towns across the state, including Southbury, a charge for 1/3 roughly of the teacher pension program. So what this does is it moves the process in the direction of the governor wants it to go. It sort of fits into his plan. And while there are some other plans floating around, what you should understand is the probability that something like the governor's proposal, which would cost Southbury $1 million for the teacher pension fund, is more likely to happen now than if the pension or the concessions package had been rejected and a new package had been renegotiated. So we are moving in the direction as the legislature voted on a all but one vote, party line vote, to approve the package, with all the Democrats but one voting for it, and all the Republicans voting against the governor's proposals. The same thing happened in the state Senate. All 18 Republicans voted no, all 18 Democrats voted yes, and Lieutenant Governor Wyman broke the tie with her vote in favor of it, making it 19-18. But as I said, the key thing is that all of those rather scary numbers that you were seeing, cuts, big cuts to aid, particularly to education aid to Southbury, and also that $1 million for the teacher pension fund, are more likely to happen now than they were before. And of course, what the governor is talking about right now, we have not seen this, you have to fully understand the implications of it, is he's talking about rearranging the allocation of education money, which he had originally done in his executive order that he signed at the end of June, by which he has been essentially governing the state of Connecticut. And he's talking about now taking money from towns that they deem to be more affluent and giving it to towns that are less affluent. And so I'm pretty sure that Southbury is going to fall into that more affluent category. So again, to the extent that the governor gets his way, and so far he has been getting his way, a lot of hand-wringing and a lot of people expressing grave concerns and searching their consciences and that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, they voted for everything he asked for. So I think as you're going forward with your budget and as you're thinking about what you're going to have to deal with, even more so than in the past, I would say, prepare for those worst-case scenario numbers that you've seen.
Thank you.
Sorry to bring you such bad news, but hopefully it gives you some opportunity to make some adjustments going forward to lessen the impact as much as possible. It's sort of like being on a kayak when a speedboat goes by. You want to turn into that wave. You don't want to be hit sideways.
Arthur,
Thank you.
I thought that the dumping of the pension money onto the towns was somewhat unconstitutional. Is that not the case?
So far, no one has indicated that it's unconstitutional. The Attorney General has not weighed in. And the constitutional requirement, it's not so much unconstitutional as, I'll try to be brief because I know you guys want to get into that executive session, but about a dozen years ago, the teacher pension fund was $4 billion short. And a deal was made whereby the state floated bonds and borrowed $2 billion to help fund the pension fund. And the reason why that made some kind of sense at the time was that we borrowed money at 5%, and the estimated rate of return on the teacher pension fund investments was 8.5%. It's the same as your pensions that you have. There's an actuarially based calculation of how much the rate of return should be, and what you lose by not fully funding your pension is that 8.5% per year. So that kind of made sense. One of the things that was done was the bond covenant was written into all of those $2 billion worth of bonds. Every single bond contained a covenant that said the state must fully fund the teacher pension fund every year. So the question is, the argument is made, it's unconstitutional because the state isn't fully funding it, it's imposing that charge on the towns. The argument the governor makes is, there's nothing in the bond covenant saying where I get the money. I can get the money from taxes, I can get the money from stealing it from the towns, I can go rob banks, it doesn't really matter where I get the money as long as the check gets handed over to the treasurer in the full amount of what the actuaries dictate the fund should be. I think there's an argument to be made that this is contrary to what everybody's expectations were, but so far no one has definitively ruled or ventured a binding legal opinion. And clearly the Attorney General will be the one that will be binding if we were in fact able to get an opinion from him on that score.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to move into executive session to discuss the Teamsters contract, inviting Bill Ryan, our labor attorney, and Cindy Harrison, along with Bill Sarosky.
So moved.
Second, third, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? And we'll move into executive session. Favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it passes. Thank you, Bill.
Nice to see you.
Okay, announcements and correspondence. You've all had that in your packet. On the consent agenda, do we have any questions?
I do. I need to pull out the purchase of town property so I can recuse myself from the vote on that.
You'd like to pull out the...
2B.
Okay, so what we're going to do then, we will pull that out. We will not be able to vote on that tonight
Okay.
because we won't have a quorum. So removing,
What do you mean? Don't we have Mike?
not without you,
Oh, sorry.
Right.
I think we need 4, right?
We do.
we do need
Yep.
one.
My math was a little funny.
Oh, that's too bad.
So we will pull the that out of the consent agenda. With that removed, can I get a motion to accept the remainder of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And it carries, and will carry the that one item over to the next meeting. Thank you. Minutes of July 20th, 2017. You've all seen it. Do you have any changes or make a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Mike approved.
Second.
George second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that will
Aye.
carry.
I have to abstain. I wasn't here.
We will bring the, we'll call that vote back then, because we don't have a quorum, and we will put that on to the next.
Is my vote of an abstention not a vote?
An abstention can count, I believe.
I think it does.
Okay.
She's abstaining. I believe that counts.
I do. I agree.
I'll take that in dice.
Parliamentarian
And it passes. How nice. We won't arm wrestle on that minutes. Unfinished business, we're still going to need to meet and get the opinion from our attorney. We will,
Jeff, point of order.
yes, sir.
If we can vote on the minutes, why can't we vote on the purchase of town property if she abstains?
She has to
I'm
recuse
not
herself.
abstaining, I'm recusing.
Oh, so
I'm
that's
not
a
casting
different
a
thing?
vote.
Okay, sorry.
All right? No,
Fine
that's fine.
distinction, I didn't know that there was a difference.
Good use of point of
That's
order.
okay.
Very good use of the point of order.
All those in favor of George's good use of the point of order? Okay, and it carries. And we will, we're going to table the banner policy also because Jason's not here, and we will do that. Wait, let me look at this. We do have it. Okay. We are ready to vote on this, aren't we? We'll table this. There's not
I'm not
enough
ready
of
to
us here.
vote.
You're not ready to vote? We will table that. What's that? We're not voting on anything. Okay. What's that? We're not voting on it. It's in there for discussion and this is pretty, we're missing a lot of people. Okay. New business. Any new business? Any new business?
Nope.
Okay. Reports from the liaisons. I don't think there's a lot going on. George, do you have much?
Are you going to go first, Jeff? Do you have any reports?
There's really not a lot. There's not been a lot of reports, a lot of meetings.
None of my groups met. Region 15 got pushed back into September. That's like the third or fourth meeting in a row that's been canceled on the space utilization study. That's about it. I don't have anything.
Selectman Betty is not here. Jason, Selectman Bucksbaum is not here. Jennifer.
Director of Senior Services emailed her a report, so you all have that. And strategic plan meets on Thursday, August 10th for a presentation workshop. All are invited. That's it.
Okay.
Yep. And Parks and Rec, Region 15 and EMS resume starting in August. No.
Okay. We do have our Senior Services Director here. I would entertain another motion to add her to our agenda to speak.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And opposed, and it carries.
Good evening. The first selectman had asked me to just touch on accreditation. It's something that I've been very vocal about when I first started, and I am shamelessly taking advantage to also pass out some of my director's report for July, as well as a long overdue annual senior services report for 2016. I'm not going to go through all the details of the annual report. I will let you know that when I did arrive, there was an annual report that was prepared in 13 and 14, not for 15. And certainly with all of the transition ongoing during the year of 2016, this report's a little thin, but the material that I give you is credible and reliable, and there's a lot of explanation as to why certain things might be included or absent within that, and I look forward to a much more robust and different looking report for 2017. We're back to the reason why Selectman Manville, First Selectman Manville had asked me to attend, and that is regarding accreditation. We have a gentleman who is a professional who's returned back to college who has a minor in human services and actually spent quite an amount of time in researching accreditation for us. And we have had some great responses regarding accreditation, and surprisingly enough, they've been less than tepid. There's a huge investment financially, and I think all of us recognize the tremendous budget crunch we're in. And I made a recommendation on July 11th to the First Selectman that I was recommending we not pursue it at this time. I have some of the information that our Scott Brown, who is our intern had recommended, and one of the things that he stated was that there's not a national standard that's set. This is actually being set by the National Council on Aging, and that he's found just in the cursory review that the path that we're currently on down in senior services and policies and procedures and structure meets or exceeds the criteria that they propose. So I think at this point we're really on a very good path right now with what we're doing. And I just celebrated the year, and I'm an education person or so much. I'd still love to see us implement. It all takes time, but I do recognize too that we're really blessed with an incredible team down there. We've implemented a lot of good things since coming on board last year, and I'm just anxious to continue to enact it. This has been presented to the senior commission. There was great explanation. Our Scott Brown was there. Interestingly enough, too, he is a South Prairie resident, so it's really nice to have him on board with us. It's only for probably through the end of this month, but he made a very compelling presentation to the commissioners. They had no question or disagreement with the Selectmen's decision that the recommendation was acceptable and had been made by myself, backed by quite a bit of statistical and informational gathering. That memo was framed up in time with the first Selectman and was interested in that. But that's really the recommendation I made. A little bit of disappointment, but it was certainly very encouraging to know that we are definitely on a good, strong path for our department and through that the services that we're providing for our seniors. We've also I've changed the director's report significantly. I'm including what I think is important information that I'm getting from our computer system. I will tell you that I've been thrilled with it, and it's giving us much better information.
Accurate.
It's accurate, it's reliable, and the filters that are being applied are being done in a consistent way, which is one of the deficiencies I discovered as you'll see reviewing your annual report in the past. So that's really all I have.
Yeah, I just asked if Tamara could come and give a little. I think it's important to understand and make it public that we're not pursuing the accreditation. The cost of it and the return and what it accomplishes, I would say, is minimal. So I just thought she should be here to answer any questions about that. And I think it's our senior population is important to us. We're working towards the software has been fantastic. Hats off to Tam. She researched that software, saving us money, a better product that we're using. So I would just say, is there any question on this?
No, I would just commend Tamith in 1 year's time what you've accomplished. You've become our senior center's become a model for the state.
I appreciate that. It's not done without my team. I am blessed with a very incredible team. Of course, very hard person, very passionate about what we do. So it's a great pleasure.
It's interesting that this kind of gets a bad rap, this accreditation. In the industrial world, there's something called ISO 9000 that maybe a lot of you have heard of. That started back in the 80s and was really big. And I think at peak it was like 80 and 90,000 companies were registered, certified to pay the inspectors to come in every year and do their certification. But I think the number now is down to like 10,000 for basically the same reasons you're citing. It's just the payback's just not there. So maybe there's an analogy, I don't know.
Yeah, I think also too one of the findings that Scott came up with is that the senior centers that aren't backed by a municipality or come under the auspices of a municipality have much more gain from that accreditation than one that's under the structure of a municipality where there's already measures in place for accountability and excellent level of service.
Okay.
Thank you, Tana.
Any other questions? You can just. Hold on my phone. He should be in there. Hold on. You want to call back?
Did Mike get cut off again?
You have to love technology. Right?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Do
No,
ya?
yeah.
That's right, no, yeah.
No, yeah. No, we don't.
Bye, Mike. You go. I mean, it's okay, we started with a quorum.
And of course, my phone is locked up.
Miss, what is it? What's the number?
I'm calling him now on the other, my other. I got him.
Jeff?
Yes, Mike, you're on my phone, my other phone, town phone locked up. So you're in with us. I'm sure you heard the presentation by Tammet that we're not going to continue.
almost all of it.
Okay,
Dropped out at the very end.
okay. So now we are at the end. Is there any other business?
Move we adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Mike, would you like to second that?
I will second that.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate your dialing in, the effort you took to be with us tonight for the quorum, and we do appreciate that.
My pleasure. Sorry that I couldn't be there in person.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
And it carries. Thank you, Mike.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.